Hi, good afternoon. I decided to do another video. And this time I want to actually go into something a little bit deeper, which is our heart, because I did experience certain things in the beginning of the year that I felt that people should know about. Not because I want to be arrogant or because I'm egotistic or thing like that, but because there is massive changes going on, and sometimes it will feel so hard that it will make you sick. And in past videos, I discussed this energy and vibrations and frequencies that if we don't release them, they will make us sick. But I also mention frequencies that can actually help you heal. And with that being said, in the beginning of the year, I did had a problem with my heart, and I ended up having surgery, and they were able to fix the blockages that I have in my arteries that caused the problem in my heart. And I'm saying blockages because that's exactly what it is, blockages. But if I think about what is that in the physical, what does that represent for me in my spiritual growth? Blockages are kind of like noodles, what we say in Spanish, or something in the middle that doesn't let things flow naturally. And because of that, it creates a buildup. And the more that it builds, the bigger this blockage becomes. And I use the word build because if we, for example, use our trauma from the past, our sorrows, our bitterness, and even trauma, things that we experience but we don't know where they came from, they just become emotions that are like steady, like stuck in that area for a while, to the point where they create blockages. And why the heart? Because the heart is where emotions evolve. Our mind thinks everything, process information all the time. But our heart is the one that looks and processes the information that is attached to an emotion. And those emotions can be good. This is why we share and cherish the relationship that we have with parents, with families, with close friends that we love dearly. Why? Because there's an emotion attached to that. But the same way we attach ourselves to those emotions that makes us feel good, we also attach ourselves to fear, to envy, to bitterness, to being egotistic, selfish. And all of that is not because we want to be like that, but because our past experience has molded us or shaped us in that department. And we are what we are now because of it, whether it's good or bad. And with that being said, considering my past experience and everything that I had to experience as a child into adulthood made me ignore everything that I experienced so I can be a person for somebody else. Meaning, so I can be a mom, so I can be the wife, so I can be the sister or the aunt or that friend that other people want to confine into or give support. So I stopped being me. So all of the emotions that I have, everything that I experience, I turn it around, but I put it away. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to deal with it because in my mind, I felt that constantly dealing with that meant that I was stuck in that past. And there is a delicate balance between processing information as we go, or emotions, versus not processing it at all and put it in a container that you don't want to look into it again. It's like me using this Hello Kitty and put it in there. And then I do this, and because Hello Kitty is so pretty, I put it away and I attach it there, and I won't look at it again. I won't deal with it. I won't face that reality because I put it in a pretty box. So the pretty box that I put was, instead of me thinking about what had happened in the past for me, that I experienced, that it was horrible to me, I prefer to be that mom. I prefer to be lovable to my children, or to my husband, or to the family or friends. Never in my mind will think that I wanted to deal with other people, right? Or, I mean, dealing with them, but not with me, if that makes sense. So when you do that, when you put things in here, you know, and you put it away, which I'm doing that right now, I'm not looking at it. I just know it's there, but I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to make sure that my life is so busy doing everything else except to clean my temple, except to clean my heart. So it wasn't until the beginning of the year that I came to the conclusion that I felt like I was dealing with certain things, but not all. I learned to deal. For many years, I've been cleaning my house, my temple, my body. And to the point that I wasn't even taking medicine at all. No medicine whatsoever, which is wonderful at my age. No high blood pressure, no high sugar, nothing like that. So I felt I was healing and I was doing good. That's what I thought. Not necessarily. Because when I discovered the problem with my heart, I discovered that I had 90% blockages in the heart, and only 10% my heart was functioning with only 10%. So imagine my surprise that I was living with 10%. So the question is, what the heck did I do? What happened with that 90%? So what happened? It became so hard that I couldn't do nothing about it. And by the time I realized, by the time it reflected in the physical, meaning showing evidence that something deeper within was happening, that's when I had the heart attack. So I'm saying all of that to focus on one aspect. And I'm saying it now in December, in the beginning of a full moon that is about to happen tomorrow, because perhaps the message that I want to transfer is for people to do the same, for people to actually look at themselves in the mirror and look at it all. Look at the ugly and the bad, and the ones that are so ugly that we look at them and we're like, that's why this shadow is following me, and we tend to demonize it instead of realizing that that is something that we need to face. It's almost like looking ourselves in the mirror, but looking ourselves in the mirror with complete honesty, right? Why do I have to do that? Well, if we notice, and I'm only going to speak spiritually, and I will use Bible verses that relates to that, but remember that every time I do a video, it has to do with your spiritual growth. However you look at that is up to you, and however you decide to learn to release all that energy is all up to you. If you want to go back into the Bible, I will give you Bible verses, but you have to remember that I'm speaking the Bible from the terms that help me spiritually in my own spiritual growth. That doesn't mean it's going to apply to you in that sense too, but we're still talking about the same thing. So when I was facing that, I realized that this is actually 10 years after the beginning of the age of Aquarius. This is astrology specifically that I'm talking about. And why this is important? Well, if I remember in the Bible, in between Mark and Luke, they speak of a Last Supper. Some of those books are more specific and more detail oriented into what happened and when Jesus was here and shared his Last Supper with his disciple. But what I'm going to be concerned, it's more what happened before the Last Supper. And what happened was Jesus tells us specifically 3 of his disciples, I believe, or 2 of his disciples, to go into the city. And he says specifically to follow the man who is bearing a pitcher of water. And then he says specifically in Luke that follow him into the house that he's going to enter, the man holding the pitcher. Luke only says, Mark 14:3 says, follow him. It says the same thing. It says, when you go into the city and you see this man with a pitcher, follow him. That's what Mark says. But Luke is more specific, that he even tells you that follow him into the house he's going to enter, right? Now, and why am I saying those Bible verses into combining them with Aquarius? Because Aquarius is holding a pitcher. Aquarian is doing that. So we're living in an era that we have to strip ourselves from the ideas that were taught to us because of religion, because of culture, that are no longer going to serve us in this new era coming up. And I'm saying that because it has to be a way of them thinking and not actually happening. Because if we look at history in the past, only the women used to go to the well and carry water in bearers and pitchers. Men didn't do that. So why this is important to me? Because it's telling me in that specific area that the man with the pitcher, and then it says follow him into the house he's entering. Every time astrologically we change from an era to another era, something drastic change in the world. It affects us physically, it affects us mentally, and it affects how we move forward into the future. The Pisces era was very dense, and it was an era where the specific beliefs were used to control humanity. And that's the reality. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because if we look at the Bible, many times it tells you how many times the person who wrote that specific book says that God told them to do certain things. So I'm not questioning the Bible. I'm not questioning the words in the Bible. But what I am saying is that Luke also tells me this particular part. And if we remember that historically, we know for a fact that women will be the one going into the wells and the lakes or wherever they were getting the water from. They were the ones bringing the water back home, not the man. And if it wasn't the man and if it wasn't the woman, guess who it was? The slave. And this one, it can't be the slave, because it's telling you follow the man who's carrying the pitcher, and then it says into the house that he's going into. So if he's going into the house, most likely he's the owner. If he would have been the slave, the scripture would have told you that as well. But it's not. It's not making that clarification. So I'm going to assume that it was the man owning the house. Now, again, when we're saying entering the house, what are we doing now? We're changing. I just told you since 2012, we were changing from Pisces era to the Aquarius era. This is where we are right now. This is in 2022, in few weeks, we're going to enter fully into the era of Aquarius. In some calendar, depending where you look at them, like in Hindu, or Buddhism, the way they look at the calendar, for them it might be a couple more years. But as overall, what it's telling me is that the energy of Aquarius is already rising and hovering us since 2012. And this is 10 years after. So now it's time for us to do the cleaning. Now it's time for us to do what it's meant to do. And why I'm saying cleaning? I'm saying cleaning because in the Last Supper, this is not only the last time that Jesus ate with the disciples, but this was also the time where Jesus himself cleaned the feet of his apostles, in which there is one specific that mentioned that Peter didn't feel comfortable when Jesus did that, because he looked at Jesus as the Messiah. And why would a Messiah clean his feet? Very simple. It's showing you that even though you are a righteous man and you're walking in wisdom, you still have to clean your own feet. Somebody else has to do it for you. So it's almost as me trying to do something about it, but I can't do it all. If I'm a doctor, for example, I can do surgeries to other people, but I cannot and will not be able to conduct my own surgeries on me. So with that being said, Jesus was showing them, I am the master, I am the Messiah, but I am able and capable of humbling myself to help you clean yours. Now, why is something that we need to remember? Because if Jesus did that at the Last Supper, then that's what we need to do now. That's what we're facing right now. That's what I was facing in the beginning of the year. What I was facing in the beginning of the year, I was getting hit back and forth with so many things, with the family, even with my husband and me. Not that we were having any problems, but on the contrary, it was almost like it was hitting us hard physically. And I never felt like I was draining. That is the good thing about it. Why? Because I took all of it as a healing signs. It was a sign for me of healing, removing. And what I noticed was that if in the past I was living with breathing hard, using my heart only 10% of the capacity, and I was still able to do certain things, imagine what I was capable of doing and what I'm capable of doing now with my heart being healed. And not that it's completely healed, it's healing. It's healing. Every day is healing. Every day I'm dealing with something new. But the perception that I'm getting now is different, because I'm looking at everything, good or bad. I'm not even saying anymore it's good or bad. I'm only saying this is helpful for me, because it's ripping away from me something that I can no longer use, whether it's an idea, whether it is a perception of looking at things. We can't do that no more. Ironically, I was born in October, so my sign, the rules, is Libra, meaning balance. So I have to balance the good, what I call the good, with the bad. But it can't be good or bad. I cannot look at it like that no more. I'm supposed to be in the center with the ability to see my past in one aspect, understanding why it came, and question myself, why did I experience that? Why did I feel that? And then move into the present, which is now, and then looking at the future with a different perspective. So that's why when the Bible mentions things of you are being tempted, the reason why the word tempted continues is because I am supposed to, in the now, look at it again. It might be hurtful, but I still have to look at it again. I still have to face it. I still have to realize. And if it comes again and it hurts, it means I'm not healed. It means there's something else there that I still need to heal. And that's how I look at things now. So I'm not supposed to look at it or good or bad. I'm supposed to just simply look at it. I'm not supposed to feel this person like deny my past, which in terms brought pain and sorrow and all these things that I don't want to face no more. No, I'm supposed to live in the present, not focus in the past. But if the past comes, understand that there's something else I need to fix or I need to deal with. If it doesn't hurt me no more, then it's only reminding me, look where you at today and look from where I removed you back then. So we have to look at it in those terms also. But why am I saying all these things about the heart? Because in Ezekiel right? And in Ezekiel, it actually tells me that God is supposed to restore. And I like that one specifically. I'm not saying exactly which one is the verse. Ezekiel is it's a book. It's very imaginative, but it's also very prophetic in terms now, because Ezekiel himself also writes that God tells him that he restores a heart that has stone and make it all flesh, right? Making it new. David writes in Psalms that he proclaims the same thing. He proclaims that God will heal his heart, and he will move forward and will restore. And in Revelations, there's another one that says specifically that I think it's in chapter 9, where he talks about John is saying, these are the people that have washed their sins with the blood of Jesus. And I like that verse, because that verse is not telling me that Jesus washed my sins. It says they wash their clothes. So yes, we have to use Jesus. Jesus is my example. Jesus is my blueprint. He's teaching me through these information that I can find in the Bible how to do that. But he's also letting me know that I have to do the work, because it says they have to wash. They wash their cloth. So that means that yes, Jesus, through the blood, he's giving me the energy to do it, but I have to do the work. I can't wait for a so-called savior to come and save me. No, it is my responsibility. I have to do it, right? I have to do it. I can't expect the whole world to do it. So this is why you should never look at things from being good or bad. If you focus on your attention that everything is bad or good, the reality is that not everything in life is going to be good, and not everything in life is going to be bad. But if I live today and I wake up and everything that I can recognize in the world is bad or ugly, then I need to really question myself. Why do I always have to look at things from that perspective? Otherwise, then no, right? So one last thing that I would like to think about, and that us to think about and reconnect, is that the positive and the negative. What we consider positive is really our purpose, is really our what we need to do. But the negative aspect is the mission. Why is negative? Because you have to go through certain things in order to go into that mission. You will face things that you're not accustomed to deal with. So that's your mission. You have to go through it. You cannot avoid certain things in life. You just have to go through it and face them, right? Now, there's also the purpose for us is actually how we project, how we project what we're going to think about, how we're going to do things, how we're going to handle that emotion, versus the mission is actually to look at it, but look at it from behind, so then we can get the purpose. So now, if my purpose is to do this, then my mission is to look at my past and realize what can I use from that I can no longer use because I already experienced that was bad, and then move forward, right? Now, it is also talking about two things that we need to learn, and that's unconditional and compassion, right? So the new era with you, and it has to, and I'm only saying this for you, because once you work with yourself, then what comes out of you that deals with the rest of the world is different, because you already dealt with yourself. So why unconditional? When the Bible speaks about this love that God gave us, it is unconditional. What they mean is that we and God look at us unconditionally, but we also have to do the same. Why? Because unconditional means that I'm looking at you and I'm not using my judgment on you. That means I'm accepting everything around the world and everything about the rest of the world without judging that is good or that is bad. That's why it's called unconditional, because you're not putting conditions to that love. That's how you're supposed to live your life. And why compassion? Why you need to use compassion with unconditional? Because you have to make the passion to make it better. So the passion will become your mission. The purpose is to do it unconditional. That will be the difference. So moving us into this new era, it's about looking ourselves in the mirror and reflecting what we have done with our life, not judging ourselves. Because in order for us to stop judging the world and the rest of the world as good or bad, we have to stop doing that from our perspective, from our inside. We have to learn to love ourselves unconditional. We have to learn to love ourselves with compassion and understanding. Otherwise, we will continue to judge everything as good or bad. And I just mentioned, we can't pick one side. We have to do both. We have to look at the past with the present vision that the future will be better because you already experienced that, right? So that's why when I was dealing with my problems, I felt that when I was dealing with my heart, I felt I wanted to deal it from the perspective of compassion. Why compassion? Because in reality, I do have that passion to help other people hear the stories that I have to say or that I would like to share with them so then they can heal themselves. I have that compassion, but I didn't have it unconditional love or compassion for me. And because of it, it reflected in my heart. And I was just like taking punches, and not taking a break. Even boxers, when they fight, they punch, but then they go back and they play and they hustle around. We have to do the same. We can't just take punches, because by the time your body begins to break, you're going to realize that you have all these illnesses that now you have to clean. Tony Evans says in one of his books that a lot of many times where the body reflects an illness or something that is happening is already being manifested in the spirit for a very long time. You just didn't notice. I didn't even notice. And that was my fault. That was something that I had to learn to live. And that is why I refuse to do what I was doing in the past. And for many months, I stopped doing videos. I started going on Facebook. I took time for me. I took time to heal myself. And a lot of us are going through major surgeries, physical illnesses that we have to take time away from everything and everybody just so we can heal ourselves. This is almost like the butterfly when it goes to the change from the caterpillar into a butterfly. It actually goes and put themselves in a high place by themselves, wrap themselves around until they are ready to grow wings. And then when the wings are there, then they come out. That's what we have to do. This is the time. So before this continues, because the thing is, see, the energy of the earth is changing, it's manifesting. So it will continue to do that. But what are we doing with that? Are we evolving with the earth? Because if we're not, then that means we still need to step back and change and then look at everything from our perspective from the inside, you know, and realize what still needs to change, what still needs to move away, what do we still need to grow. And in doing so, we will change. We will change how we see things, and we will stop judging. Because again, I just told you that part of not being, I don't want to say a righteous person, but part of walking in the right path into righteousness is look at everything with unconditional love and compassion. But we have to do that for ourselves. And always remember that unconditional love is really not about emotions. It's about how you judge everything. Your conditions. What did you put in there that you refuse? I'm not doing that. Every time you look at somebody and you're saying, oh, I'm not dealing with that person, you're putting conditions. Every time you say, I refuse to look at what happened to me back then, that means you're putting a condition because you don't want to deal with it. No, you're supposed to be like, when the person comes and you already deal with them, it's supposed to feel like, oh, it's you again. Oh, okay. Good seeing you. Have a nice day. See? No emotions attached because you already healed from it. But if you still put in like, no, 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 there's still something to heal. And I know because I've been there. I know what it's like. I know what it's like not to deal with them. And I specifically said many times, it's not that I don't want to face it. I'm healing from what I felt back then. And because I'm still healing, I'm giving myself time to heal. So I'm not putting myself in a predicament where instead of moving forward, I'm setting back. I don't want that no more. So with that, please remember that again, during this time, this new moon and the new year that is coming, honor what you have experienced. Give thanks to what you had experienced, and tell God or the Creator to remove that from you, to help you release that and give you peace of mind with that. Ask the world, ask the universe, ask God to help you love yourself, to help you have passion for something, for your, especially for you, for what you want to do in life, right? And especially to learn to love yourself with unconditional love. When you do that, then your heart will be restored, as the Bible is saying it. When you cleanse the past, as Revelation tells you, they have cleansed the road. But in the Last Supper, before them, they were going into following the man with the pitcher in their hand, is in his hand. It says also that after they go into the house, what follow is they cleansing. They were cleansing their feet. When you cleanse your feet, you're removing stuff that you walk, because you use your feet to walk. Your feet represent your past experiences. So your past experience requires cleansing. So when you do that, when you're cleansing your feet, you will be cleansing your road. You'll be becoming that person that walk into righteousness. Again, that's in Revelation. So Revelation's already told me if I did that, I will be marked over here with the mark of God that says the world, I am righteous. And that's what we need to do. Cleanse ourselves from the past so we can move forward in love for ourselves and the rest of the world. If we learn to love ourselves, we learn to love the world. And by loving the world, we create the most powerful energy, which is love. So thank you with that. Happy holidays and many blessings to all. And for everybody, love and light.